Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Tonight, you will be joining Rotting Ricky and Asylum Amy as they play host to some of the true movers and shakers in the indie horror scene. So lock your doors, check under the bed, and get comfortable, because here we go.
And I'm Sylvia Saska, and we're the Saska Sisters, and this is Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies!
Hello, junkies. You may, this is Rotting Ricky, obviously. It looks like Asylum Amy forgot to shave. Or, no, that's Lance. Hey, Lance, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, my man?
Well, we got another great show lined up for today. I'm really excited about our guests. They're part of a film called Sugarcane that Lance just took a look at the other day, so he'll be doing a full review for it. That'll be up on our site probably tonight, right, Lance? No, not soon enough, yeah.
Soon enough.
Yeah. But we have a great show. Real excited to chat with these guys. But before we do that, let's do some quick housekeeping. We'll go over some of the things that are going on in the land of junkies. First off, let's mention, of course, like we normally do, submission process is still open for the upcoming Sugarcane Film Festival. That's going to be held September 5th through 7th of this year. So it's just a couple months away. So make sure if you got a film, a short, or a feature that you want to get in there, we've got trophies going out to the best of the fest. We're going to have panels going on. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have special non-competition screenings, all kinds of stuff. So make sure if you've got something you want to have screened over there, get it into us, because the end date is actually the end of this month. So you've got just a couple short weeks left to get your submissions in. Then we'll be announcing the lineup, the schedule, the whole kit and caboodle. And on top of that, it is a convention. So they've got a whole bunch of special guests they've been announcing.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Let's get you caught up with those real quick. First off, of course, we have the amazing Felicia Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Sheridan.
Yes, sir.
Got the amazing Daniel Roebuck.
He's been in everything.
Jason himself, Kane Hodder here. Phil Falcone, special effects genius from the Terrifier series. Jesse Posey from Teen Wolf and Screamboat. His brother, Tyler Posey from Teen Wolf and Scream as well. Eugene Clark from George A. Romero's Land of the Dead. Come on now.
That's a good one.
And then we rattle off our Fright Night people, which I'm so jacked up about. First off is Jonathan Stark. We've got Stephen Jeffries. You're so cool, Brewster. Amanda Beer, so I cannot wait to meet. And then William Ragsdale himself. Look at that. Oh, boy, so excited. And then we also have Costas Mandylor from the Saw series. Look at that.
That's amazing. He is such a good actor.
And he survived all those songs. I thought everybody died. Amazing to him. Then we also have Elizabeth Vermilia. I probably butchered that name, but she's in the new upcoming Hell House LLC, which we have some great announcements coming up here. I'm not going to spoil them because Amy will kick my ass. So I'm going to leave it at that.
I've been hearing a lot of things about that film.
Oh, yeah, so have I. I'm really, really excited about it. Amy is a huge fan of the whole Hell House LLC series, and this is, I think, going to be the last in that series. And then we have the newest one they just released, Kaylee Hyman.
From Screamboat.
And Screamboat. So she's going to be there also, so really excited about that. And just to let you know also, in case you all haven't picked it up yet, the new issue of the Indie Horror Junkie magazine just went live and started shipping on the 13th. This is issue number 18, and it's got Hell House LLC on the cover, got a big story inside. We have our indie horror hottie, Celeste Blandon, on there. She's such an amazing girl, and she's got a film that we also did a little piece on as well. So there's all the details. You can go to indiehorrorjunkie.com and pick up your issue. It's in print and digital, and we'll get it off to you as quickly as possible. And really excited about this one. The next issue will come out, issue number 19 will come out in September. And I can't get the cat out of the bag to tell you who's going to be on the cover and all this stuff there, but I am chomping at the bit. Okay, what else do we have here? We also have the Nightmare Collection. This is a series of anthology films that I started back in 2001, well before Indie Horror Junkie, and we just concluded it with volume 3, and we concluded it, packed it up. It's all done. All of them are on DVD. They're all available on IndieHorrorJunkie.com, and we're making room for Reels of the Dead Volume 1, The Theater. I could not be more excited for this project. Everything is coming together so nicely. We're really excited about it. It films in November of this year, and then we'll premiere it in early 2026. It's another horror anthology, but this is going to be with a bit of a twist. We did put a big article about it in the last Indie Horror Junkie magazine, so if you want to pick that up, you can read a little bit more about it, and we're going to be releasing a lot more details, but once again, I don't want to get smacked over the head by Amy, so I will keep it at just showing you this cool poster and letting you know that more stuff is coming. And we have one last thing to mention. Another film festival, the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest. So excited again. Last year was a blowout. This year we can't wait again, but it's not this year. It's actually March of next year, but the submission process is now open. So if you have a short, a feature, anything like that, you want to see it on screen, that we play host at MegaCon Orlando. If anybody has been to MegaCon Orlando, they know what I'm talking about. It's just going to be me, Amy, Lance, and 250,000 of our closest friends. So definitely come out there, check it out. It is an amazing event, and our film festival is going to be off the chain. We are so excited about it. So I think that covers it.
Tarot cards. Tarot cards.
There you go. You see, that's why you're here, Lance, to make sure that I don't screw up everything. Yes, let's put a quick plug for Tarot cards. Tarot cards is an amazing, as a matter of fact, let me let you talk about it, Lance. Tell them about Tarot cards.
Well, it's a free digital trading card, tarotcards.com. Basically, independent horror films. You get these trading cards. You can trade online with your friends. You can see there they have the clock. We also got recently, they did Forest Through the Trees from Jason Pitts. So collect them, trade them, play them. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty cool concept that they got going on. And obviously, also, you can go to IndieHorrorJunkie.com and get the clock on Blu-ray. Don't forget to mention that. Your own little plug there.
You're amazing, brother. That's what I love about you. You know, you remember all this stuff because I can't remember everything. But yes, the clock is available on Blu-ray. That's our first Indie Horror Junkie feature film. Definitely go to Indie Horror Junkie and check it out. Now, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into what we have coming up today. We are talking about a new movie called Sugarcane. We have the writer and one of the actors on board. So before we bring them on, we're going to do what we always do. Let's play their trailer real quick so you can get a taste of what they have coming on, and then we'll bring them on and learn all about them. So here you go.
Hello? No, 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 no!
Since you've been with us, you haven't taken a single day off. We appreciate the help, but
We think you should take a few days off.
Police are asking for your help to track down a missing girl that they believe may have been abducted right outside of her workplace. Authorities say 17-year-old Phoebe Foster was last seen leaving Ugly Mug Bean and Brew late last night.
Hey.
Damien. There's something going on, something bigger than you and I know, and I really need your help.
I'd rather enjoyed our time together, haven't you?
The police can't stop people like this. I mean, there's nowhere these people can't get to.
All right, what do you need from me?
It's called Sugarcane. It's this sadistic website where people are tortured live on camera for viewers all over the world.
This isn't a suicide mission. If we can't save her, we abort and we go to the police. We can't keep chasing these shadows.
The police don't know who they're looking for. We do.
You and I, we are just getting started.
Oh yeah, I love serial killer movies. Can never get enough of them. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
We have Gabriel Howard, who is the writer, and we have Kellan Jackson, who is the star. You played Damien in the film.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We definitely want to jump into this. One of the things I did want to well, first off, we have a few people logging on here, so let's see what they're saying. Hello, Joe. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Let's get everybody involved here. Good evening, Junkies. Yes, fine evening. Absolutely. What else do we got here? Joe again. Thank you, Joe, for joining. Friday Night Pleasant. Yes, Joe. Absolutely. Can't wait to meet them. I'm so excited. Yes, Joe. Gotcha. We feel your passion. Feel your passion. Reels of the Dead. Mary, I'm telling you the truth. We cannot wait to jump into that. And then hey, look, even Lance is chiming in. Are we doing Lance doing double duty here?
Trying to do some double duty.
Is watching live. Look at that. All right. Absolutely. Make sure you chat with us post-mortem. Joe again. Animal Master. They are, aren't they? I'm telling you what. That reminds me of Donnie Darko. Remember Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a creepy bunny mask.
Hey, Jared Tipton. Jared is a filmmaker himself. As a matter of fact, his short film won Best Short Film at the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest last year. So thank you for joining us. And all right, real quick now, let's go ahead and get started here. Gabriel, why don't you introduce what's going on here? Talk a little bit about the film. Tell us how you got in, how this all happened, where the hell you dug Kellan up from, because he was amazing. So lay it out for us and let us know what's going on.
Oh, I got a whole story about Kellan. Now, oh my gosh! Well,
this is live. Don't take bets.
How's it going, everyone? So, my name is Gabe. I'm the screenwriter for Sugarcane, and the whole film is basically about when hearing wind that a serial killer, only known as the Bunny Man, as you saw, abducted a woman named Phoebe outside of her workplace. Trafficking survivor Mari, played by Josie Juliet Wirt, tries to track her down and bring her home, but she can't do it alone. She enlists the help of Kellan here, who plays a character named Damien in the film, and I got a lot to say about him. He's a great person. I have a lot to say about him tonight. But yeah, no, it's really funny because the idea of Sugarcane, really it came from our co-director, DJ Postley. And he brought this idea to Pat Baker and I. And he was basically like, how far can humans go to seek validation? Like, how far are we willing to push ourselves in order to, whether it's something as small as monetary gain, or are we trying to prove a point? Are we trying to advance our own personal interests? So he brought this idea to us, and we kind of built off of that idea from there, involving things like the dark web, things like the red rooms. Like, we kind of built off of that premise, and and then from then on, we just started writing. We just hit the ground and just started running, and a little over a couple months later, we had a fully finished screenplay.
That's
Very
awesome.
Cool. Now, one of the things that we definitely like to try and go over with this show, because we have a lot of filmmakers, actors and actresses and stuff that watch this show, and a lot of them are always asking questions about the process. And not everything from how did you get the funding for the film, how long did it take you, what's the indie scene like in the area that you're from, how did it all come together? Because they like to know all that kind of stuff. So let us know a little bit about that. How did you get the funding for the film? Is this something you did crowdfunding for? Did you have some investors in place? And where exactly was everything filmed and put together?
Well, everything was really filmed around Raleigh, North Carolina, as well as Atlanta, Georgia. So we're big of filming out in North Carolina. Postmortem has really originated from North Carolina, and we have a whole bunch of businesses that we collaborated with on the film. So like we have Sugar Magnolia Cafe, we have Wake Forest Brew, White Street Brewery. Like we have a whole bunch of different people who were more than happy to collaborate with us on the film.
That's awesome.
It was great. We had some investors that definitely helped us out with the film, and we had distribution from Buffalo 8 Entertainment, or Buffalo 8 Distribution, excuse me. So they handled distribution of the film towards platforms like Amazon Prime, Tubi, I believe, Pluto, Plex, a whole bunch of things. I think it's coming later on as well on Screenbox, as well as a physical DVD release later down the road. So they were great people.
Now, you said, did they come in and offer you the distribution deal prior to making the movie, or was this something you got after you made the movie? You was looking around for a particular distributor. They're the ones that stepped up, and you ended up going with them.
That one, yes. So
Okay.
once we had a cut of the film done, Buffalo 8 Distribution reached out to us, and they were like, "Hey, we've seen some of the work that you've done on Sugarcane. You know, we're interested in distributing this film." And so, you know, we got all the paperwork taken care of, and they were really great. They were really great people in helping us along for the final release on June 13th.
Awesome. Let us know a little bit about the casting so we can get Kellan involved here. How did that go, and how did you dig this guy up and everybody else?
The casting, it kind of is like a twofer, because without our four main leads, I severely doubt that the film would have been as in your face, you know what I mean? like if I had to describe it one way, because the casting really made the film that much more special. We first had Lacey Katina on as Phoebe. She was the first one to be cast, and then funny enough, right afterwards, we had Kellan casted as well. And I mentioned this prior, but Kellan was, as Damien, he was the one that we ended up doing the most auditions for. We were looking for someone that we always described as the foundation of the film, someone that can bring all of the characters back to ground level, when in contrast to Michael Mau's Bunny Man, which for those who have seen the film, you know how terrifying he is.
He did an incredible job as
Absolutely.
Arthur and the Bunny Man. That was really top notch on his part. He really reminded me of Crispin Glover, and not like Crispin Glover like as like from Back to the Future, like Crispin Glover like the human being, because he's very eccentric, and that's just kind of what stuck out with me. Like, man, that guy, the way he talked, the way he acted, it was very Crispin Glover-esque.
Absolutely, and we've heard a bunch of comparisons from his character, the Bunny Man in Sugarcane, to unsettling characters. Like the most notable is Norman Bates in the film Psycho. I think we've heard that. I think probably since the trailer dropped in general. Like we've just received those comparisons, and as well, of course, I can't forget to mention Josie Juliet Wirt as who we casted as Mari, who just brought out just so much emotion in her role in the because we had to, for her role, we had to find someone can play a very someone who's very emotionally distressed about the whole situation her character is in the film. And her performance was incredible. All of our leads were just absolutely incredible. They knew the assignment and they delivered every single time they were on screen. They just delivered.
So Kellan, when you were going for the film, were you targeting Damien as the character you wanted to be in the film, or were you trying to be the Bunny Man, or?
No, I don't think I could have pulled off the Bunny Man. I think Michael had such a secret sauce for that. It's untouchable. I knew So I had heard about Damien before the script was really finished. And I had no idea how big or small the character would be. But when I got a final copy of the script, I hadn't gotten the part yet, but I was still kind of reading for it. And when I got the final copy, I was like, wow, this character is, he's a lead. He's way bigger than I originally thought he was going to be. I knew that they had their choice of a ton of really talented actors. And up until that point, I really hadn't done I hadn't been a lead yet. And I've told this story a few times on another podcast, but for where I was at, I kind of knew that to get an opportunity to be a lead, if it wasn't this, it might be a while. And I auditioned a few times. So I sent 2 or 3 tapes and I heard some good feedback. And then I actually got to meet up with Pat Baker, our director. And I just really let him know that I wanted it. When I read Damien, it was a really specific cadence that I heard him talk in. But I just kind of saw it. I saw how he walked. I saw his little tics. If you watch the movie, he does this thing where he sniffs a lot. And so I just kind of started to see that sprinkle in throughout reading the full script. But I got to sit down with Pat and I just told him, I said, I really get this character. I love this character already. I think he's the most interesting one in the film because there's so little about him. And I just really wanted it. I put my heart on the table and, they all heard me out. And then we shook hands, we said goodbye. And I didn't know if I said too much, if I overstepped. But like 5 minutes later, I got back in the call or the car.
Gabriel's over there like, nah, you didn't overstep.
Yeah.
You're what we needed.
Yeah. But it was really a role that I really wanted. It's a role that, I look back on and I'm just so thankful. Like it was a really, really amazing opportunity. And to see where it is today it's pretty incredible.
Well, it's really interesting you bring up the sniffling of the nose because when we meet Damien in the film, you don't see him doing drugs, but it alludes to he might have a cocaine problem. Yeah. So it was kind of cool for me. I kind of pick up on little minute details like that. So it was like, you didn't really allude to the fact through and talk about it in the film, but like you messed around with it enough to be like, okay, he's clearly got a little bit of an issue with, sugar powder.
Yeah.
There's a funny story to that, to kind of add to that a little bit. So we, the filming process, we don't film everything in order. So the funniest thing is that, Kellan, when you were doing that, we saw him do that mannerism for a while, and we were just like, we have to find a reason, like later on in the film, like when we film the appropriate scene, we have to find the reason as to why he's sniffling. So sure enough, when we get to that scene later on, like that was a late scene that we filmed, but he started doing the mannerisms first, and we're like, we have to roll with it. That's another example of Kellan making Damien his own character, and it was incredible.
Thanks, man.
Nice. How long did the process take? I mean, once the script was done, once the cast and stuff was in place, how long did the process take from pre-production to actual production to the editing process? And were there any major situations or whatever it is that whether you had to find a way to do something or something fell through, so you had to do in true indie horror junkie fashion, had to be creative and get something done? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So let me see if I can get my time right here. So we finished, I think, the script at around June of 2023, and production, I think, went into effect at November of that same year. So pre-production, we're very quick. Postmortem kind of prides themselves on, like, we have very quick pre-production. We know exactly what we want. We go and get it. We line it all up, and then we hit the ground running. Production only took a matter of 12 days to fully shoot everything. The interesting thing, though, with that is that production wasn't like a traditional film where you do it kind of like every single day. We had to take a little time between initial principal photography and reshoots a couple of months later, just to make sure we got the appropriate footage we needed. And post-production took about 1 more year. And then we had the picture locked in and ready to send off to Buffalo 8 distribution. So, what was your other question? I apologize.
Well, I was going to say that was one of the questions I was going to ask that you just answered. Was I always like to know, was it 12 days straight? Did you take some time off? Because I mean, every production is a little bit different. So I always like, and like I said, for the filmmakers out there, we like to let them know how that process went. But the other question I had for you was, did anything major happen on set? Whether things just fell apart, losing locations, having to replace actors, anything like that that had you where you had to kick in that indie horror creativity to make it work? Because like, the studio films, they just throw money at it. They've got a different person for every production. Everything will work. But when you're an indie, sometimes you have to do some insane stuff and some crazy stuff to make it work.
Totally hear you on that. Absolutely. And I think the most notable example was towards the back half of the film when, and I'm sure Kellan can attest to this, as well as the other actors and actresses. The whole bit in the woods, that whole bit in the woods was essentially, there wasn't anything that went wrong. I mean, our crew at Postmortem is very efficient, and we, when Pat Baker and us have a vision, we're like, we know exactly how we're going to achieve that vision. But something we did not account for those wood days. At night, it is freezing. It was absolutely cold. So, I mean, I'm sure when you watch back the film and you see, breath particles when everyone's breathing, you can tell that it was cold. It was absolutely cold. We were freezing. We had to keep pushing through, though. We had to get that footage. We had to be like, we got this. We got this. Just a little bit farther, 1 or 2 more takes. We'll move on. We'll keep it going. And yeah, I mean, that was, I think, the most difficult out of all the different shooting days. But outside of that, I mean, it was wonderfully chaotic. If I had to put
every indie set is, yeah.
Every indie set just wonderfully chaotic, but I wouldn't have done it with any other crew, any other.
When you have the right people in place. I'm sorry, Kellan, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say for what it's worth, and this is shout out to Gabe, DJ, Pat, Lindsay, Michael was one of our producers, and everyone who was on the crew. Like, it was cold, and sometimes it'd be hot, and sometimes you're in tight spaces. But like, for the majority, this was a really smooth production, and I think that's just a testament to the people who are running the show. We had a lot of fun making this film, and as like gritty and as grounded as I think it plays. It kind of just felt like a little summer camp. I mean, we were all, running around. We were having doing blood cannons and really having the time of our life. And I know indie films can get crazy, and there's so many different things that can go wrong. But I think it's a testament to the team up top they really ran a tight ship. I mean, whatever could go wrong was accounted for. I mean, there were backup plans in place, and I was very impressed by the time we wrapped. It's one of the more smoother productions, I've ever done. So
and that's one of the things I was definitely going to mention, that if you have the right team around you, you all share the same vision. Like you said, Gabe, you knew exactly what it was you wanted. Everybody knew what was going on. That helps so much, because once you start rolling, when things start going south or whatever the case may be, you guys are all following the same path, have the same vision. So it's a lot easier to work together and pull that together. But I will say something too. You mentioned about being cold out there outside in the woods and stuff like that. I will trade that any day with you shooting down here in Florida, okay, in the 100-degree heat. And yeah, we're in Florida, in the 100-degree heat and the freaking pterodactyl mosquitoes and stuff like that you can have here. I'll be cold any day of the week, brother.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I'm also primarily located in Florida, so I directly understand.
Yeah, we did a movie outside, and it's like I thought that I was just about to die, because I mean, these mosquitoes, I mean, they had saddles on them. It was unbelievable, but they did not quit, and I didn't know how much I was going to make it. So luckily we got through it. So I'd much rather
I work outside all day, every day. Like, it doesn't bother me that much. Like, if I've never been on a shoot, but if I had to be on a shoot in Florida, I'd probably be fine. It's whatever to me down here.
Okay, we'll get you out there one day.
Rick's out to prove me wrong, I'm sure.
And it will be real easy to do that too. So now with Sugarcane, where are we at now? I know it's done. I know it's been picked up for distribution. Let me know the latest on what's going on with it, where we can expect to see it, what's the future. You mentioned something about physical media. give us all the juicy details about that.
Absolutely. So currently, Sugarcane is streaming on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Plex and Pluto, Hoopla, I believe, and later on it will also be released on Screenbox. I know they're a big up and coming streaming site as well. And yes, the physical DVD release we are not sure on yet, but once we get any sort of announcement, it's all hands on deck. I'm a big physical media owner. I'm pretty sure my shelf in my apartment is going to explode if I add one more DVD or VHS to it. But no, I'm a big physical media
I think
person.
Rick might hold the record for the person that
Yeah,
I know that
I was
has the
going to say,
most
you ain't got
DVDs.
nothing on me, Dave. Nothing on me.
I thought I had a lot, and Rick's literally got like 10 times more than I do.
I put Blockbuster out of business. But with that physical media, I'm a big proponent of sometimes people, when they go out and they buy physical media, okay, they're looking for a movie and they'll see the thing. Maybe they've never heard of the movie or whatever, but they read the back and it sounds cool. Artwork is cool or whatever. But one of the things that myself and other people have done as well is sometimes they'll buy stuff if you've got a ton of extras on there, whether it's audio commentary, behind the scenes, all kinds of stuff, because then they'll feel better, like I'm getting more bang for the buck, and they'll take a shot on it, you know what I'm saying? Because you've got so much added. Do you plan on doing that with your physical media, or just putting a bare bones one out there, or are you planning on really putting a bunch of behind the scenes stuff?
Well, we have no shortage of behind the scenes stuff. That is absolutely for certain. In fact, very recently on our social media pages, we put out it was very interesting. Like the top half of the screen, like the actual movie was playing, but on the bottom half of the screen was the behind the scenes as well. Some of our most like iconic scenes. So as of this moment, I'm not sure yet, but the moment that we get everything going, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I'm just glad about that, because you always hear the stuff about people saying that physical media is dying, it's going away, nobody's caring anymore. And I'm like, I don't believe that. They said the same thing about records when CDs came out. Now records outsold CDs a couple years ago. Plus also, that's really the indie filmmakers' lifeblood, is those DVDs and stuff. They sell them at conventions, on their websites. So I could never see it going away. Maybe the mainstream stuff might go more towards streaming, but streaming is great and it's convenient, but you're always seeing stuff like when I go to Netflix, they're saying, okay, soon leaving Netflix or soon leaving here or whatever. To me, if you got the DVD in your hand, it ain't leaving nowhere. I can put it on wherever the hell I want.
I'm still waiting for laser discs to make a comeback.
No, that's not
what I'm saying.
So, Gabriel, you talked about some of the iconic scenes. Obviously, you one in the woods. You guys have got a couple of them. Kellan, was there like a favorite scene of yours that you like got to shoot versus what actually turned out on the film?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the most fun we had in a scene. I really enjoyed the coffee shop scene where Josie and I see each other for the first time. For those who don't know, it's in the trailer a little bit, but that was a day where it wasn't it was about right in the middle we were filming, but it was our first time seeing each other's characters. So obviously we had been acting previously. So we were both kind of nervous of like, how is this going to play to like see each other for the first time? And we did this thing where like, all right, it's like, I won't talk to you too much early in the day. You don't talk to me. And we'll just try to have this really organic reaction. And
okay,
I was nervous about it, but I think it plays really well. It's one of my favorite scenes in the film to look back on. And I'm really proud of Josie as my scene partner in that, because she gave so much that it was just easy to, it is a more emotional scene because you're seeing these two people who thought they were dead for the past few years, but to watch that played back, that always holds a really special place in my heart. It's like,
yeah, and a lot of the movie really rides on YouTube being obviously sharing the screen a lot. One scene I do want to ask you about, because Gabriel, you wrote part of this movie as well, right?
No spoilers, Lance.
I know, no spoilers this time, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But the hotel scene when Damien is explaining this complex series of events on the computer, like how he's like trying to hack into stuff, like Kellan, do you even know like what you're saying?
You call him out on that?
You can be honest, Kellan. You can be honest.
Well, I'm just like the whole Big Bang thing. Like Jim Parsons literally knew like nothing of what Sheldon was saying, and I'm listening. I'm kind of having the same reaction as Maury. It's like, dude, speak English. I got no idea what you're like tracking here.
I've actually never been asked about that. That's a really good question. When I first read it, no, I had no idea. Firewalls and the Trojans. I was like, is this like a video game?
Is this a porn?
Yeah. I remember being in college, and my roommates and I would always talk about the dark web. It's a very fascinating thing you do think about it.
It really is
on it. So, to Gabe and Pat and DJ's credit, I mean, they'll tell you how to get on it. Like the way that it's explained, it is the way. Like, and I found that out. I wanted it to sound organic, and I hope it did. I hope it sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
No, it definitely did, and that's what the more convincing part was. And it's like, as an actor, like you had to sell that if you don't know what you're doing. So if you didn't know what you were talking about, I mean, I'm none the wiser. You did a great job in that scene.
I hope it comes off. I did a lot of research, and I watched a lot of videos, and I watched tutorials of like how to actually get on the dark web, and it is the same thing that Damien talks about. And if I was like, okay, if I understand this, I understand what a Trojan is. I understand that he's like sending Bitcoin because that's how you like do. You have to be in a wallet to make a donation. I kind of understood the pieces, and then I think I just tried to say it as I understood it. So I knew the words. I didn't really know what they meant meshed together and how they. So to answer your question, yes and no. But I think that's a credit to the writing, where it's like you kind of just let it roll off your tongue. And it's actually accurate. Like it wasn't like just making up jargon and throwing it out there. Like they really did their research on how to actually access the dark web.
Well, and that was the one thing I wanted to mention to Gabriel, because I mean, I've never been on the dark web, but I've gone down a few Reddit rabbit holes, and the lore of the dark web, unintended,
plug intended.
But the lore of in the movie is pretty accurate to what I think is reality in that regard. So
Absolutely.
Credit to Gabriel for writing it in there like that.
100%. Yeah, they did a great job.
And a credit to you, Kellan, because like I said, if you didn't pull it off on screen, Lance would never have asked that question. He would have just known this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He was just asking. So obviously you pulled it off, and well done.
Well, thank you.
I'm not just here for my good looks, Rick.
Thank you.
All right. Real quick before we get too far, because we're already about halfway done with the show, I've got some stills that you guys sent over. What I want to do is pull those up one by one. And Gabriel and Kellan, if you can just kind of let us know without giving anything away, no spoilers or whatever. Just let us know what's either happening there or just a little insight on each one of those. Okay? Here we go. Here's the first one.
Ooh, Gabe.
Iconic. Iconic. Yeah. This.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, okay, without giving anything away, this was the still that pretty much inspired the whole film. Frame one. Without this picture in our minds, I don't think the film would have launched itself, or the script would have been fleshed out enough. This is the still. You see it pretty early on, without giving anything away, but this is the still that inspired the whole film.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I will say, and again, without giving anything away, like this scene does come early on, and when stuff happens, I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those movies. Okay. So kind of like strap myself in, like, okay, things are going to be a little uncomfortable.
Very nice. All right. We got this.
Lacey.
Who is this, and what is she in the film?
So this is Phoebe, played by Lacey Katina. And in the context of the film, again, there's another pretty early scene early on. Funny enough, I think just writing this, like after we kind of pulled all the ideas together, this building up to this scene where Lacey is playing was like, once we wrote that initial code open, we were like, this is something special. Like let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes. And yes, we also did this shot in one take.
Very nice.
Awesome.
All right, let's get on to the next one here. This one should be a juicy one.
Ace. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that mask. Is that something that you just went to freaking, what do you call it, the Halloween store and picked up? This looks like this is something that you really put some work into.
No, funny enough, the bunny mask was all Michael Mao's idea. He constructed the bunny mask himself. I don't know how long it took for him, but I just remember one day he just shared a photo of this creepy bunny mask, and we were just like, we were taken aback. We're like, we have to use this.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you not?
It just screams iconic, and I love just that iconic status for the bunny mask.
Absolutely, very cool.
Nice.
Another image there. That's just obviously he's got somebody there that he's dealing with.
Oh yeah.
Anything you can say without giving it away?
Very intense.
Okay.
Very intense scene. That's all I can say without giving too much away.
Then we'll move on. No problem.
Ooh. Yeah.
Somebody had an accident here.
Yeah, someone slipped and fell, and fell on their head. I mean, just a regular day at the office, You
had them sign waivers before they came to set, though, right? Just to make sure.
Absolutely. We had to get that. We had to get this in one shot.
Very nice. Do you have a lot more special effects, gory special effects in the film, or is it pretty much just spotty, or what is it?
We have plenty of practical special effects. We prided ourselves on special effects, and huge shout out to our makeup team for just the absolutely wonderful effects that they did throughout this whole production. It was scarily accurate when I saw the actors with their makeup for the first time, and I was like, "Ooh, you okay there?"
Yeah, I'm a big fan of practical effects, and I'm a little spoiled because my very first horror film that I ever made, Web of Darkness, back in 2001, I actually had Tom Savini, I was a huge fan of, come in and help with the special effects. So oh my god, and I've been a fan ever since. So
that's
see what else.
That's Lacey just selling it.
Yeah, this is again another iconic still. I have to commend Lacey. Her dedication to her role, much like with Josie, Kellan, and Michael, her dedication to the role of Phoebe is unmatched. I mean, she gave it her all, and it shows in the final film. And very intense scene once more for the context of this still.
Very cool.
Ooh.
And who is this?
I'm trying to think when that was.
I know exactly where this is. So this is Josie Juliet Wirt, who plays Mari in the film. She, without giving too much away, she stumbles upon something or someone that just immediately just makes her face drop. Is like, I need to get out of here. Like literally, that's it. That's all her face screams is just get out. And again, her dedication to the role is unmatched. Wonderful.
Outstanding.
Oh yeah.
Kellan, you know this one.
Yeah, little stunt action I got to do, but it's I think the whole film kind of leads up to this one moment, and to film that and to kind of feel that kinetic energy, it was definitely really real that day on set. And I think I think the film really climaxes after this scene. I think this is a good peak for it. So one of my favorites.
Very cool. This is an interesting scene.
Yes, absolutely. So in some of the scenes where the Bunny Man does not have his mask, we have Michael Mao alongside Bonnie Brewer, who plays a very important person in this character's life. And whenever they were both on screen, it was just their chemistry together was just it was too real. To me, it just felt too real without giving too much away.
Okay, very cool. I love the framing too of all these stills and everything, and what I saw in the trailer. So, I mean, hats off to the DP and yourself as well. Really good job.
Shout out Dakota.
Yeah, Dakota Monarch. Woo!
Amen. Yeah, this is a fun one. This is I think this is a good example of, Josie plays Mari, who is a really frantic character, very determined, and she's trying to accomplish a mission. And I think what I appreciate about Damien is he's very reserved. And I think this is a scene where she's kind of showing his, her frantic energy, and I think Damien is really playing that bass line that kind of is like, we should probably think this through before we go off on this crazy plan.
Nice. I think the comment here is probably about the bunny mask. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. That is correct. Michael Mao only made one bunny man mask in existence, hand stitched by him, and we still have it. It's in great condition, and yeah, it's
only one. So there's not going to be any on the merch table when you go out.
No,
he handmade it. So
handmade it.
Gotcha. It looked great. Great job by him. And the last still we have is this one here.
Yeah. I think that's just the mask in full effect. I don't know how he got his eyes that dark, but I think that's just the level of Michael artist. I mean, he handmade the thing, the mask with paper mache. So I love the eyes on it. It's my favorite part.
Well, the lighting in this shot also made a great contrast with the eyes. I think also helped it to look a little darker than it normally does.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, Gabe, because I dig a lot into that. I saw an interview with somebody, I forget what movie they were talking about, but they said that a lot of thought went into the lighting. That every time you saw like a certain kind of lighting, they wanted to emote a certain emotion, or this let you know that this was coming. Did a lot of thought like that go into it when it came down to the lighting and everything?
Absolutely. I mean,
beautiful.
One of our core beliefs for, especially with our DP on set, Dakota Monarch, is every shot to me as a filmmaker has to mean something. It has to give some sort of emotion every single time, and complementing that, is the lighting. So especially for this shot, when we got the rushes back, when we were going through the footage, and when I saw, this on screen, I'm like, this is it. This is just is perfect. It's a perfect shot in my book. So
yeah. I do have one more picture. We'll just do a little blatant here. This is the magazine, issue number 16. 259's on the cover. This is the article right there that we did up on Sugarcane. So if you haven't read up on this film, you can pick up issue 16 on IndieHorrorJunkie.com and definitely check it out. But one thing I did want to mention about that, like I said, I listened to all this stuff, and I love the fact that you go into such great detail of making sure that every shot is framed a certain way or lit a certain way and trying to get a certain emotion. I remember seeing some interview, I think with Matt Damon, where they were talking about the movie The Departed. And he was talking about the little things they had in the background. Like they said, every time you see a character walk by, if you see some kind of an X, whether it's in a poster or something or whatever, or on the
that
window.
Character died.
That character dies in the film, and they did that on purpose. And I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows the incredible attention to detail.
Exactly.
That's all a wonderful director, and then DP, and then the assistant crew that pay attention to those little details. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that are making like a once in a lifetime film. Exactly.
Yeah. And they're the ones that are getting stuff where people are going to be talking. That's what they call water cooler talk. You know what I'm saying? After you see the movie or whatever, people will bring up this, or did you catch that, or did you see that, or whatever. And that's what gets people to go back and rewatch the movie. So good job. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
So once again, no spoilers, and without giving anything away, and I don't know how you're going to answer this question this way, but is this movie going to be basically a one-shot, or is there any plans for any kind of a follow-up, a sequel, prequel, anything like that right now or in the future? He's thinking, how can I answer this?
How can I answer this?
If you can't, then just say mum's a word. That's fine.
If we can think of a fantastic storyline to follow this up, we may consider it. That's all I could say.
Good enough. I won't press you any further on that. I appreciate that.
Of course, of course.
Right. Kellan, question for you with regards to acting, because as an independent filmmaker myself, I've been on set with various people that have various different processes. I've had those method actors that have to have the headphones on and certain music to get them in the mood, and the entire day they're in that mood. You have to talk to them as character or in character. And then I have other people that could just, the moment you say action, they just flip the switch. What are you like? Where was your training? What did you do, and what is your process? Give a little insight into what you do as an actor.
Oh man. I think you have to respect any type of process. I think all four leads, all had different types of processes, which was cool to all be on set, because it's like everyone is kind of working their own way. I felt for Damien, and I think it changes on any character you play. There's definitely, I've played some characters recently that are, much more to myself. I don't think me and Damien are super similar. So I did have to find a way in. And for me, it felt, I know he lived in his own world, where that's computer hacking and his knowledge about the dark web. And he's in a different space than I think a lot of other people are. And there's this kind of like disconnect between socially what's going on and what he has going on. So a big inspiration I took from was Rooney Mara in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where she's very focused. She's a great character, where she's just very focused in her own space, and these social interactions kind of make her uncomfortable. Yeah. But where she's comfortable is technology and cracking these codes and figuring these things out. And so I don't know. It was this weird thing where I love being on set, and we had such a fun time, and I didn't want to deprive myself of a really great experience by just walking around with my head, in my glasses and stuff, and just focused on computers. But there was these moments between action and cut where I could just kind of, I don't know, you feel yourself sliding into it a little bit. Most of the dialogue is kind of computer jargon. So for there, I had to be really sharp. I did know what I was going to say, get it down pat, make sure the audience can understand it. But the scenes where I didn't say a lot, I felt like that was kind of my time to really internalize things. And so I just tried to say a lot without saying a little, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know how the process goes about that. I think if you're focused, I did a lot of prep leading up to it, and then when we got on set the day, I feel like it goes out the window. And
yeah,
just kind of shoot from the hip.
Yeah, well, I've heard some actors say that they have to, when they read a character and they read a script or whatever it is, they try to obviously develop that particular character, but sometimes they have to find something within that character or that storyline that they can connect to, and then they can wrap their mind around that. And I remember seeing an interview with Leonardo DiCaprio when he talked about his role in Django Unchained, and he said that was the most unbelievably despicable person, because I'm nothing like this guy. And it was like so hard for him to wrap his head around that. I've got to play this role, but I don't know what I can do because I can't connect with this guy. This guy's just pure evil. So that's why I really appreciate when I talk to different actors and stuff to find out, how did you connect with this thing? How did you bring this character to life? And was it more you? Was it more the director leading you to where, hey, this is what we have envisioned, and you just making it happen? To me, everybody, like you said, has their own process. So I always like to kind of ask that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think the way in was the writing. The writing's so good. You can just feel yourself slide into it. I knew there was a lot of different ways to play Damien, but the script as a whole really called for him to be the sounding board for these other actors.
Right. So
it was a really thin line to walk of not doing too much, not doing too little, to just try to really root each scene I was in this reality. Because I'm not only the eyes of a character, I felt like I was the eyes to the audience. And if the audience didn't really believe what was going on with Josie and I feel like they weren't going to buy into the story. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was, I felt like it was a huge honor. And I felt like that honor, it really comes from how good the writing is.
Well, and what's interesting about the character, like, despite his shortcomings, I mean, he is kind of like the voice of reason at the same time, you know, like Like, we need to call the police, or we need to not do this. We should probably do that. And, there's a lot of back and forth between, you and Mari as characters.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And that leads me into it when you talked about the writing of stuff, for a question for Gabe. A lot of directors and writers and stuff like that handle things differently. Sometimes they're like, we need to go ahead and do this script, and I want every single word said the way it's written, and the script done the way it's written. Other ones definitely like to let people kind of, hey, like the way I do it on set. I have my script, I have my set thing, but a lot of times I'll go to my actors and actresses and say, look, if you get every line the way I wrote it, I'm not worried about that. What I want you to do is make it your own. As long as you get across what it is that I'm trying to get across, you go ahead. I want you to make it your own. If something doesn't sound right to you, whatever it is, make it your own. The only problem is, of course, make sure you do it the same way every time, or else the editor's going to kill me. But with you, what is your process with that? Are you a real stickler for the script, and you had them stick to that, or did you pretty much let them have some leeway and let them ad-lib a little bit? How did that process go with you?
Well, I think my process was when writing the script, I had an idea of like, okay, this is everything that I write is going to be law. Like, this is like, they're going to be saying how I write the dialogue, the way that I write it. Right. But of course, that's when you're in front of your computer and you're typing away and you're like, this makes perfect sense. And they're just going to say one line after the other. And then, of course, I'm sure you know as well, when you're actually on set and then you have all these actors and actresses, and when they're bouncing off of each other, you slowly realize, like, okay, let's change it. Like, we got the take that we want. That's great. Let's see in this take if we can change it up just a little bit before we move on to the next scene altogether. I think having that freedom to letting them experiment within reasonability, I mean, I think that's like the perfect golden middle right there. Yeah. It's to let them experiment, let them like, hey, this doesn't sound right when I say it. Can I try and spruce it up like this? And then you were like, well, let's do a take and let's see what we can do. Yeah. I think that is crucial for a screenwriter and an actor. Like, it's like a partnership almost when you do that. So
yeah, another way to do it, kind of like what you were just talking about there, is one thing that I've really become a proponent for is in pre-production, doing a table read. When you get all the actors together, you do that table read or whatever, a lot of times they'll come back and say, hey, look, for this particular part, this just doesn't feel natural to me for this character or whatever. And it's good to get that feedback there, because when you're a writer and you're doing that, you only got that one thought process. You do it, it's coming out of your head, but I like to have other eyes on my script sometimes, whatever it is, and get some feedback from some other people and then make those changes prior to going to set. So table reads always help out a lot. Did you have a table read for this?
We did have a table read during pre-production. Here's another very small but funny story. Is okay. When we were doing table read. A table read is you don't act out your part. You just read your part and make sure it makes sense. That did not apply to Michael Mao when we were doing the table read. I don't know if he did a fantastic job. He went fully into his role. I mean, he was saying Arthur's lines, not just, how I was thinking he was going to say them, but he added his acting on top of that. And Kellan, you remember, like, during that table read, we were just like, oh my gosh.
Is this guy okay? But it's so you couldn't take your eyes off him. He's just having this like existential crisis in this, little Zoom box, and I was like, this is powerful, man. I was like, I can't wait. I think we have something really special here, and it shows. He really brought every ounce of himself to that role. It's very inspiring.
Very cool. I love stuff like that. I've seen that before in other table reads with the Zoom, and somebody just really gets into it. And to me, that's almost inspiring. You know what I'm saying? You're like you just said, Kellan. Really gets you into the whole feel for it. All right, well, we're getting ready to close the show out. You've told us where it can be seen. You told us that physical media is going to be coming out soon. Is there anything else you want to drop about the film? Also, let us know what you have coming up next and where people can find you on socials.
Perfect. Well, I just want to say thank you both, Rick and Lance, for having both me and Callan on. It was a huge honor, and it it's absolutely incredible to be here. Yes, the film can be found on Tubi and Amazon. It is already out. I'm so sorry. Repeat that.
That's okay.
The next thing that we are. Yes. Speaking of the next thing that we are working on with our man of the hour, Kellan Jackson. Our next project we are currently writing the script for. It is called Honey Pot. It's a different take on a different film altogether than what we did with Sugarcane. It's a lot more of a slower burn, but it's a lot more enriching, I feel, in terms of the world building, in terms of character interactions and everything like that. And, you know, without saying anything in terms of who's Kellan going to be playing, he is one of the people that I am most excited to see on this project. But that is all I can say. Yes, sir.
I will say real quick, and this isn't because I'm in it. I'm not even joking. It's an incredible script. I've read a lot of scripts in my time. This is up there with one of the best ones. So,
outstanding.
I just as a fan, I'm really excited. I think they got some cooking.
So do all the films follow like a sweet treat type thing like that? Sugarcane, honey pot, cookie jar.
Yeah, cookie jar's the fifth one. No, it was very funny when we were coming up with the naming convention. We were like, oh, I guess we got a sweet. Someone's got a sweet tooth in the crew. But
yep, Kellan sure does.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? No. And of course, for our socials, you can follow us on Postmortem Films on Instagram, TikTok, as well as Sugarcane Movie on Instagram and TikTok as well. And yeah, that's all the thoughts I have. Thank you again, Kellan. Do you have any closing remarks as well, sir?
I just want to say we're big fans of what you guys are doing. It's really an honor to get on here. So thank you guys for just giving us a platform and giving us a chance to talk.
Yeah, we just got to do it all again next time when Honey Pot comes out. I'm all set.
Absolutely.
And I will have a review up in the next couple weeks for Sugarcane. So guys, look forward to that.
Absolutely. All right, guys, if you don't mind, what we're going to do is take you off screen here real quick. We'll say goodbye, end the podcast, and then we'd like to come back and just say goodbye to you real quick, okay?
All righty.
Just give us a minute or two. All right, another great show. Thank you so much, Lance, for all your insightful comments and keeping me on track as I tried to veer as many times as possible.
I appreciate you having me on as always. It's always a blast.
This is another one of those shows that could have gone 2 hours because I just looked down at the thing and saw it was like 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, I had more questions to ask, but no. Those guys are great. I'm really looking forward to seeing that film and so happy we had them involved. So other than that, that's it. Let's go ahead and say goodbye for tonight. And we thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the comments and everything. And I guess we will see you next Wednesday.
Appreciate you guys.